What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving more into Bronson's Turbo EK build. If you guys haven't seen the last video, be sure to go back and check it out. We fitted up the Jerry built 3-piece front end. We made some custom brackets to hold the bumper steady in place and also easily removable with the provided quick latches. Today we're going to be diving into the engine bay. We're going to remove the current turbo setup to go from a mini ram to a top mount and all the modifications with that. New intercooler, charge pipes, up pipe for the turbo, up pipe for the wastegate. I'm just gonna get right to work, guys. I'm sorry for the laundry in the background, but let's go ahead and show you guys the bumper really quickly, and then let's get to work. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bumper back on and show you guys really quickly. You have to start at the grill first. I want to give you guys a little history real quick. If you guys remember the homie Tyga with the Turbo CRV, when he was B series, this was his turbo kit. I fabricated this in the garage like almost 6 years ago, and Tyga made 460 on this setup, and then he went K series, and then the turbo kit was sold to the homie Sun with the blue CRV all-wheel drive, and then Sun sold it to the homie Bronson here, and his turbo kit lives on. This thing made, I believe, 470, went 11.6 in this car, and check it out, dude. We did whatever we could to get this thing working. Bunch of pies down there, back door to this little intercooler, back door, straight up. This was the year when we were getting all the Built to Drive homies cars going, and everybody was out at the track. So the turbo kit did awesome. I think Bronson might be keeping this turbo manifold setup. We are going to be retaining the turbo, and we're going to be upgrading to that one right there on the floor. I'll show you guys once we take everything out here. So let's tear this turbo kit out of the car. Okay, so we have the turbo kit taken off. Here's a look at it. eBay JDM Sport intercooler. We have a stainless steel downpipe I fabricated, and it's so cool to see 6 years later, and this thing held up freaking great. 6 years ago I welded this. Ooh, I definitely missed the pinhole right there. My fault. But yeah, overall good condition other than cars being low. Not shabby. Proud of that. Dump tube, I also fabricated it, and this was just using like scrap material because I most definitely did not cut that right there. But anyways, still holding up. 38 mil, freaking awesome. So the only thing in the turbo kit we're going to be using is the turbo and the wastegate. Now we're going to have to do some mod to the other manifold because the manifolds are 44 and we have a 38 here. I just looked at the charge pipe. I didn't even have a bead roller at the time, but looks like I didn't even bead roll this at all. I didn't look at the charge pipe. Oh yeah, that's definitely not bead rolled either. We're going to do something about that most definitely. If Bronson got a new blowout valve, we would literally build him a whole new turbo kit today. But I think we're going to retain that, modify this to the new intercooler, which we're changing out, and obviously we're going up pipes with these guys. So with that being said, I'm going to clear out the table, set up that manifold right there, and show you guys what we're working with. Ooh, this thing is looking clean. All cleaned up on the inside of the compressor housing all the way around. And I do need to clean this just a little bit more because we are going to be cutting off this 4-bolt, and we're going to go V-band. Okay, so ran into a little dilemma. I was talking to Bronson right now to figure out a solution. The top mount, sometimes, some occasion, depending on the frame of the turbo compressor housing will rub up on the runner number 1. And in the case of the Rev 9 and the GTX 3582, we are touching right there, and we cannot bolt any hardware other than this one here. So it looks like we're gonna have to put this off for a little while, because Bronson is going to order the clocking flange, which is solution number 1, to clock the turbo a little bit to get the compressor away from runner number 1. I think it's 16 degrees on the clocking flange. Option number 2, which is not what I want to do, which I've seen done before, is to knock in runner number 1 just a little bit to clear the compressor housing, right? I've done it before, I'm not gonna lie. You knock in the area that is touching. The problem is our where is it at? Right here, this is our feed source to the turbo for the wastegate. Honestly, I can weld that shut, do it on the other side, not a problem. The problem is if it sucks further into the runner, we're gonna have an issue with the coupler sitting right here unless I weld a 45 or a 90 off of this, which I don't want to do. So I guess with the turbo and the manifold, we are going to wait for the clocking flange to show up. What I can do still to make some sort of progress is I can weld the V-band on today. I can also do the wastegate flange 44 to 38 today. And I can also mock up the new intercooler to fit up on the grill of the bumper and just have that fully mounted and tabbed up, ready for charge pipes to the turbo once all this gets into the car. So this right here is the old intercooler setup. It's a little tiny one. It's like 8 by 27, 2.5 inch thick, and I'm sure it'll work perfectly fine, but because we have the 3-piece front end, we may as well upgrade it as well too. A little bit bigger, a little bit taller, and it'll definitely fill up the whole mouth of the bumper. So let's find a way to mount it up. Okay, not too shabby. It was a little tricky to get this intercooler to sit straight in the grill of the bumper. It's literally sitting on a couple of like props on the seat. I don't know if you guys can see that, but got the intercooler like centered and symmetrical for the most part, right? And the tricky part here is, how do I get the bumper off without moving the intercooler off centered to make tabs? What I can do, actually, I just thought about it. What I can do is, the intercooler has tabs on the top and the bottom. I can make tabs here to the radius support on both sides to hold it in place. Take the bumper off and then do the top to the bumper support, because I think it's butted up to the bumper support. I'm not entirely sure, but let's figure this out. We have these extra tabs right here that we can use for the quick latches on the brackets, and I'm going to use 2 of these for the intercooler on the bottom. I'm going to enlarge these holes right here to accept a 12mm bolt, which is this guy here. Just a little bit. And then we can run 2 rods to the lower radius support, make it triangulated. Honestly, guys, when the bolts are tightened down to this bracket, it's pretty damn firm the way it is. I didn't even mount the top at all. And realistically, if Bronson wants to remove the bumper support, he totally can. But I will say that these guys right here helps the bumper stay in place and not sag, although we are secured up here. If he wants to take off some weight, he can definitely remove it. So I did put some foam in the back right here to make sure that it doesn't gouge the intercooler, although there is a lot of space. I'm not worried about it actually touching, but I did it on both sides just to make sure. We are looking golden, and we don't even have the intercooler piping on yet. And it looks like because this intercooler is a little wider, we might have to go around the frame rail here, which honestly is not a big deal. I can do that no problem. This one because it's a backdoor setup already, I might have to just modify this back portion to go around. Also not a big deal. Granted, the 3-piece front end, the wide front bumper, has plenty of space to put a 5-inch pipe right here if you wanted to. So I think the focus for this video has shifted just a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be doing the turbo manifold, turbo pipes and such in today's video, because the part's going to take a day or two to get here, and I don't want to wait that long. I want to continue making progress. So we're shifting focus on just doing everything else but turbo manifold and fabrication as far as a pipe goes. So what we're going to do right now before the sun goes down, I'm going to pull the front spindles off. I'm going to pop the hubs out. We're going to be doing extended wheel studs and new wheel bearings as well too. So on the front spindles, only this one right here is completely shot, and it doesn't come out of the wheel enough to put a lug nut on it. All lug nuts are required to race down a drag strip. They're supposed to check it and everything. So to get to the stud, we got to pop out the hub. And when you pop out the hub, typically you got to change out the wheel bearing. Now, I know a lot of people, I've done this before, shave off the side to be able to knock out one stud at a time in between here. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to press the hubs and bearings out. Now, this thing does have really good bearing. There's like no play on it whatsoever. The driver's side has just a little bit. You can't see it. You might be able to hear it. we're going to be doing some extended ARP studs. Honda 1980 to 2000 100-7711. All right, we got the new wheel bearing on, guys. We have new ARP extended wheel studs. I'm gonna go ahead and install this back into the driver's side and knock out the passenger. Driver's side reinstalled, and the passenger side is all done as well. So because it's like 10 o'clock right now, we're going to continue tomorrow. Granted, we are still waiting for the clocking flange for the turbo later this week. Tomorrow we're going to continue with ARP extended studs in the rear since we have them, and we're going to modify the turbo for the V-bend along with the charge pipe on the passenger side to the intercooler. See you guys in a second. I apologize, guys, the sun is going down again. I spent a couple of hours doing yard work, mowing the lawn and edging all of the grass as well too. Everything is already piled up over there, ready for trash day tomorrow. I don't usually get help when I do the lawn, except for my mom sometimes, but she spends more time in her garden area cleaning all of the grass and weeds. But yard is done, although it's mainly dead grass. But getting back to regular programming here, we're going to continue some work with Bronson ZK. I think what I want to do right now is chop off the exhaust housing 4-bolt to V-band. I'm not going to do this on the horizontal bandsaw because it'll be a little tricky to try to get this held up in the vise. So I'm going to do it how I usually do it. I'm going to cut it with a cutoff wheel. If you guys never tried Chud Jakat before, man, y'all gonna have to stay posted for the next Cambodia New Year celebration in your city. But anyways, last night I was here in the garage late welding up the V-band to the exhaust housing of the turbo, and also the 38mm flange to 44 conversion. It's all done. I finished up last night and I clamped everything onto the manifold just to let everything cool off. We have the opposite side flange right here to keep it from warping. We got this guy clamped to the manifold to keep that from warping, but it's all ready to go. So I've actually been here in the garage for about 2 hours now, and my cousin and Kevin was over, and they were actually waiting for a person to respond from Facebook Marketplace. They took off to go pick up another bike, and while they were here, we were trying to extract this post from the fork to use this on another bike that Kevin is building, but it's stuck in there. This is aluminum, this is steel. We've tried every method possible and we can't seem to extract it. So they came to pick up another fork. My brother had it in the backyard. They're going to be using that, and they should be back here soon. In the meantime, we need to pick back up with Bronson's EK. I spoke to him earlier today, kind of figure out what the game plan is, and it looks like we're still about a week out before we get the clocking flange for the turbo to do the turbo manifold portion of this build. So I want to continue today with the charge pipe for the passenger side. Now I can't do that just yet because we need to install the torque mounts first to see our clearance to figure out how we're going to route it. So Bronson brought over these torque mounts. These are billet units. They're gonna make everything goddamn solid. So he told me he didn't have any hardware, which I have plenty of. So we got to get these guys installed first, driver side, passenger side, and then we'll continue with the charge pipe on this end over here. We need to use all threaded, no shoulder. That's one. So it looks like I don't have any more of this size OEM bolt, but I do have this kit right here from the Hasport, and they're all the same. Guess we'll use these. Ooh, okay, so these guys are about 1/2 inch off. So I'm gonna have to take off this bolt and run like a spacer. Passenger side torque mount installed. So what I had to do was I had to clearance the frame rail. I had to fold that lip back right there to allow the torque mount to sit further back because it was wedged up on that corner. And now we have everything aligned. All 4 mounts right here secured, torque mount installed. This motor is not gonna move for shit. So this fork right here, I'm gonna try to find a way to extract that. Haven't really come up with a game plan just yet, but this is the bike that Kevin was trying to work on with that fork. I mean, if he add another fork to it, probably work too, but he ended up just getting a whole nother another bike. And Facebook Marketplace, how much you spent on this one, Kevin?
150.
Huh?
110.
And this is the Corvette Schwinn of the family. Look at that. Sheesh.
1960.
It's a 1960 on top of that. He wanted a patina, so I don't know what it is with him and rusted bikes, but he just keeps getting rusted bikes. But anyways, this one's got the chrome like fairing on it, fenders. This one's gonna look pretty cool. If you guys remember, I showed Robert's bike. His bike was all murdered out black and it had all the chrome scent on it. So this one will be pretty cool. I think he's gonna do the same lowriders we've been building here at the pad. My cousin just got his wheels back and he's got that matching rim now. Look at that. That thing wet, dude.
Yes, sir.
I think, wait, hold on a second. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought they said Corvette too. Nah, see, he got that vintage right there. Yeah, so, you know, this is kind of one of those days when this is slow day. Cousins, you know, they're all working on their bike, my brother and stuff. I have yet to build one myself, and I kind of want to, but pocket's not deep right now. So, next thing on the list, let's figure out our charge pipe from here. to here. So I thought I had some 180s in this box right here, but I don't. I only have a 90, a 45, and a straight. I do have this pre-made 180 for an EG we did previously on the channel. We upgraded the piping, and this one right here is actually good for the driver's side, although we're not working on the driver's side yet because we don't have the turbo and the manifold in place. But this one is just gonna go like that, and then we just got to extend this to reach there, and then that part would be somewhere towards the turbo. We'll worry about this when we do the turbo manifold portion. Now, if you guys don't know, Max Pitting Rod has full aluminum piping kits on their website. They're literally $99, and it comes with all the bends you need. So obviously I carry them in stock. I have 3-inch, 2.5. That's a leftover kit from a different car I was working on. I'm gonna need the 180s out of here. That right there. In case you guys are wondering as well, these are 100% aluminum with no coating, and you can weld directly to this without major preparation. So we're gonna need this guy right here. So let's go ahead and figure out how to route our new piping for the passenger side. Got that leg cut off right there. Ooh la la la. We got about a thumb size gap between the frame. That's freaking awesome. Now we got our U-bend. We got to cut the U-bend somewhere back here to line up with this piece. I am going to trim off the bead-rolled end right there. Cut this bead rolled right here off.
New seats on there. They always use the vintage seat to match the bike there. But what you can do is, if this is metal, you can cut it and then slip right on top of that.
Oh yeah.
And then you can use any seat down.
Check it out. Perfect. Perfect. Yo, I didn't even bead roll any of the ends of this turbo kit. So I'm gonna be modifying this bottom section. This went back door like that, but now we're gonna go around the frame rail. I'm gonna lob this section off right here where this weld is at, grind this down nice and flat, and I'm gonna make it a straight shot because at the bottom we're gonna be running a 90-degree right here. It's gonna go at the end of that pipe, and it's gonna go up like that. So realistically, I just need a straight piece to go down into this, and hopefully that'll tie up the passenger side charge pipe. So guys, we're just literally out here building bikes. Like,
Hey, man.
you know, these guys work night shift, so they're like up at this time, and we're all just here chilling, hanging out, building bikes. This is Kevin's bike, 1960 Schwinn Corvette, and he chopped up his Grove Street bike over there to use the back half to make that lowrider arm in the back. So everything is all prepped, ready to be welded on. These guys been going at it since they've been here, and I'm gonna burn the aluminum, and then I'm gonna burn his bike. So charge pipe update, I ended up chopping this section right here to go into the throttle body. I added about 1.25 inches because I had to kick the charge pipe out because it was hitting the radiator hose. So now we have clearance down there. We're not going back door anymore. We have an extension right here. We cut it off at the weld. We did 5.5, and it goes into this 90 coupler, which goes in about 1.5 inches for the T-bolt clamp, and then it loops around right there. Does not touch anything, right into the intercooler. I am actually loving how this thing is coming out. My goodness, my goodness. Let's pop it off and weld it off. It is 5:12 right now, and we are back to regular programming. Last night, all the cousins were over, and we were still out here till like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's nice to kind of hang out with the cousins again. But anyways, came out here today to knock out the extended studs in the rear. I've already done the passenger side, all studs replaced, along with the new blocks lug nut. I did tell Bronson that these are aluminum, and for the amount of times the skinnies and the slicks going to be taken on and off the car, I told him to look into steel lug nuts, because eventually these aluminum ones being driven out a lot of times, and most people do it by the gun, aluminum is going to heat up. Eventually it's going to get stripped and stuck on the threads. So hopefully soon Bronson will switch these out to steel. So anyways, I'm going to take you guys along on the driver's side to knock out the extended studs, and then show you guys how we do it. So real quick, you guys, I'm just gonna tell you how it is, and I'm just gonna get right to it. Caliper has to come off. 2 12mm bolts, 1, 2, remove the e-brake handle, and then remove this off. Take off the brake pads. The bracket are 14s, 1, and then there's like a second one here somewhere. Take the bracket off, take off this cap comes off. 32mm nut, take off the nut, and then you can take off the Phillips here to take off the rotor, and then the whole hub comes off the spindle. Rotor, caliper, bracket. And there's the hub. And there it is. I've been so all over the place with this video, I don't remember if I showed you guys the front ARP installation. Simple enough, you take the hub, you put the stud through, kind of find that teeth, the next click over, somewhere there, put it in the socket, find your tool of choice. Mine's a Allen socket. Go ahead and press it down. Usually I would tack weld a corner just so it doesn't back out over time, but I think we should be Gucci. Make sure it's nice and flush, install the rest of them, and reverse the process of putting this back onto the spindle. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before we cap out this video, guys, is refit up the belly pan. So this belly pan was installed previously before the front end, before the new wheel setup. It had a downpipe, it had a full exhaust. The dump tube pointed straight down into the pan. You can see it right there. Now that the car has a 3-piece front end and the new wheel setup, Bronson did adjust the ride height in the front, which then made the belly pan sit lower to the floor. And now, because we are not running the downpipe and the dump tube down there anymore, we're going out the hood, we can bring this up higher. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna test fit this and see where it sits to see how far up can I go to get more ground clearance. So I'm gonna hold the belly pan up just to show you guys, right? Somewhere the back tab, you can kind of see it right there. I'm gonna line it up, and I didn't realize that these brackets lines up where I welded up the intercooler bracket, right? So we're kind of interfering right there. Definitely gonna have to redesign that, but I'm gonna have to do it regardless, because I'm gonna tuck the belly pan like behind the traction bar so I can tuck it up more. So if you look, there is a lot of space down here. My only concern is where the shift linkage is at. You can kind of see it's like kind of hitting in the back right there. So I might be able to bring the front up, but the back might be a little restricted. And if I want to tuck it up a little bit more, I'm gonna have to trim the edge just to clear the shift linkage a little bit to tuck it up a little higher. But let's see where we go. If you guys look at the bracket, I'm holding it up against the core support where the belly pan will be bolted up to. And if you look right here, the bolt holes, we now have an extra inch of ground clearance because I tucked up the belly pan. I'm gonna repurpose this bracket right here. I'm gonna cut this into a 90 to bolt it up to that, and then I'm going to use a piece of this flat stock, or I'm gonna straighten it back out, but I'm gonna reuse this to make a tab right here off the traction bar with the nut on top, and then the 90 bracket is going to come off the dat, and then it's going to bolt into the bracket that I'm going to weld on to this bar. The back looks like I can kick it up a little bit because I kind of looked through here and it's not actually touching the shift linkage, so I can go up in the rear a little bit more. Granted, the car is going to be raked a little bit because it's going to be super deflated in the front wheels, and the back belly pan being a little bit lower than the front is not a big deal because I guess it'll kind of like level itself out. But I'm going to try to tuck the rear as high as possible because also it's kind of hard to see, but we are also like an inch up because the hole for this guy is like all the way up here. So yeah, well, I think that'll work. All right, guys, I want to show you a little update on the belly pan. My cousin came over, we were hanging out for a little bit, and obviously the light fell, but made a ton of progress. Belly pan is 100% bolted up in place. We got these little bracket tabs right here made out of metal, 12mm bolt on both sides, and the front will drop. The back side a little simpler, just like my blue sedan. I did it the same way. Bronson provided some aluminum, like 9-degree flat stock, so I used 2 of them symmetrical on the other side, so it looks just like this. I kept the 90 here, shortened this end, obviously shortened that end, drilled it straight into the pan, 12mm bolt and nut. This one is an existing hole. It looks like this guy here. Drilled it out, put a riv nut in it for a Honda 12mm, and little just nut and bolt system. The belly pan is not using the original bracket that was on here before, and you can see this is where it was bolted, and the hole is like up here, so you can kind of guess how much we pulled the belly pan up for ground clearance. I want to show you guys this side real quick. This one I had to cut the side of the belly pan just a little bit for the shift linkage, and it was only an issue with first gear, so I trimmed it a little bit more where you can kind of see that slant right here, and now it doesn't hit shifting 1 to 5 in reverse. So we still have probably a little over an inch of a lip for any type of spillage, knock on wood, but we are cleared back here. You can see same nut and bolt system with the aluminum bracket. Belly pan secured, definitely a lot more clearance. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up my table and everything. We are done for tonight. Pull the pan off, paint the brackets, and Loctite pretty much all the inside bolts and nut, and then I think that's pretty much it, because we're not going to keep the pan on the car. Granted, it needs to go back on the trailer when it goes home. I'll be honest with you guys, it is currently 11:28, and after I did the mounts for the belly pan, I was overall super satisfied on how everything fitted up and the clearance, but I decided to throw slicks on, drop the car on the floor, see what the ground clearance was looking like, and to be honest with you guys, a little too low for my likings. Now, last year when the car was working, the car didn't have any issues with the belly pan clearance at all, but the car did come to me lowered than it was last year. So the simple solution here is to raise the car up. It'll fix all the issues, but that is not the case scenario. So I ended up sitting on the floor, laid out for another 30-35 minutes, trying to figure out a different solution to see if I can bring the pan up more, make new bracketries, weld some new tabs, cut the pan some more. I don't know, but I have an idea, and we're gonna have to tackle that a different day. Now, this video has been prolonged a little bit, and I wasn't trying to add more to it. Granted, everything we needed to do, everything that Bronson wants me to do, we've kind of sort of taken care of all of it in this video. All the little things, aside from the turbo manifold and the up pipes. That's the last thing we need to do on the car and finalize with all the fab work, then the car can go home. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, and granted, we are still waiting for parts to show up, the clocking flange. There's really no rush at this point, and I don't need to try to rush to get everything done days earlier, right? Because if I did, there wouldn't be much work for me in between here until the parts show up. So you guys saw in this video, you know, a lot of stuff took a lot of thinking. I'm literally showing you guys all the thinking behind the process, right? Sometimes things do take this long. At the end of the day, we made a ton of progress on Bronson's EK. Everything he wanted me to do, we knocked it out, and we're still waiting for the parts to show up for the main course of why this car is here, the new turbo manifold and the up pipes. I'm actually looking forward to that because, you know, fabrication is all fun stuff to me. So we're gonna wrap it up for this video right here. I might be doing some other things in between while we wait for the part to show up, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for the turbo manifold installation along with the fabrication of the up pipes, or just whatever we do in between until parts show up, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys at the next video. Peace.